everyone, welcome to my video. My name is Willa Latham and I'm going to show you my beautiful porcelain. So if you're somebody who follows the news, you will have seen that here in the UK, in Great Britain, it's been quite a rough week. There's a lot of political turmoil. The government has lost control of the direction of the country and basically nobody knows what's going to happen. So I think we need some tea. So today I'm going to show you how I make tea in my antique teapot and drink it from an antique teacup. And why am I doing that? Because people often ask me, can you use these things? Isn't it dangerous to use them? So I always say, yes, you can. And I always try to sell things that you can still use. And if you can't, I always very clearly say it. But that's the idea. So what I have today is this beautiful teapot. I believe it's been made by Rockingham. Not totally sure. It's from the 1840s, I think, and it's made in the Rococo Revival style. And I really love it because it sort of looks like it's something that was pulled from the clay in the backyard. It looks like it grew there. And I have, of course, a teacup. I picked my favorite teacup. It's made by Henry Daniel, and it's a very special cup. It's not for sale. I use it very, very sometimes when I just need something special. I have a tea strainer and I have a little tray here with a caddy spoon and a normal spoon. And I'm going to show you what all of that is for. You might say, how come somebody who's not English is going to tell me about how to make tea? How dare you? So the reason I dare is that I found out, having lived here for nearly 20 years, anybody can learn to make tea. And in fact, I have a nice story about that because it's about 10, 15 years ago, I worked for a very wealthy person in London. And one of my tasks was to organize the house staff, the butlers and the bodyguards and the driver and the gardener, etc. And one day the butler came into my office and he was so tired and he was upset about something. And so I sat him down on a chair. I said, I'm going to make you a cup of tea. And I went to the kitchen. And then while I was making the tea, suddenly I stopped. It's like, oh God, I had forgotten that this guy used to work for the Queen at Buckingham Palace before he worked with me. So I was like, oh God, I'm going to make a cup of tea for the butler of the Queen. And I'm not even English. I'm going to mess up. So anyway, I made the tea. I brought him the tea and I looked very anxiously as he drank it. And then he said, ah, that's such a nice cup of tea. You make better tea than I do. So I've taken that as a compliment and also as a sign that anybody can learn to make tea. So here we go. We have the pot. Now, if you pour boiling water into a porcelain pot just like that, I can guarantee you it's going to crack. Maybe not a very modern pot, but these antique pots, they cannot take it. So what's very important is to warm the pot. I definitely know, as a porcelain dealer, I know that if you pour boiling water into an antique teapot, it will crack. So don't ever do that. So what you do, I boiled this water about 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, so it's still warm. I just pour a little bit of this. So this is not boiling. This is well below boiling temperature. I pour a little bit in. You don't need to fill it, just to warm it. Yeah, this is going well. This is good. And I know this pot is very clean, so I'm just going to pour the water back before I use it for the tea. There you go. And it's all back. And I'm going to boil it up a little bit more so that it will be hotter when I use it for the tea. So, and then in the meantime, we have the tea. So today I have chosen some Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey is a wonderful, gentle tea. It's very relaxing. It has this wonderful aroma. I drink it without milk. Some people drink it with milk. I think that ruins the flavor. It's very gentle and it's really good if you need to relax. So I often drink this at the end of the afternoon if I feel a little bit too stressed. So this is where the caddy spoon comes in. And this is a very special spoon. As you see, it's very short and it's all embossed. And the reason for that is that with a short stem, it's much easier to navigate and you're not gonna spill the tea. And also the tea is not going to fall off if the surface is embossed. If you do this with a normal spoon, chances are that you'll get the tea all over the table. And what's also very special about this caddy spoon is actually it is Dutch. I saw this at a fair here in England and it immediately stood out to me. This is the coat of arms of the Netherlands. Immediately stood out to me, so I couldn't leave that. I think my Dutch grandmother had one like this. So I am taking 1 spoon because I'm just making tea for myself here, so I don't need that much. If you make for more people, if you fill up the whole pot, you might need 2 spoons. And there we go. There goes the water. Now this water has recently been boiled, but it is not boiling. Again, don't make tea from boiling water. 2 reasons. One is it might still crack the pot, and the other reason is it's actually not good for the flavor of the tea. It will sort of make the tea leaves go like, well, you know, you want them to open up and release their flavor very gently. And that's where the spoon comes in, because you've got to give it a stir just a little bit after, so that everything can nicely open up and the flavor can really get into the tea. And here in England, it's really funny. If, you know, there's several people around the table and there's a teapot and somebody takes a teapot to start pouring, there's always somebody who jumps up and says, have you given that a stir yet? It's a very important thing here. So, and then we're going to pour the tea. Now, that's why we have the tea strainer. Did you know that the tea strainer, which we all know, it's, you know, it's part of every household, it was only invented around the year 1900 or so. It was only in the late 19th or early 20th century that people started to use these. And it's a really funny thing, because before that time, everybody always had all these leaves in their tea, and then they had to pour them out in a slop bowl, which is why there's often these big bowls with tea sets. It's a funny thing, but nobody ever thought about it until that time. It's a little bit like the suitcase on wheels. It took us until, what was it, the 1980s, 1990s, before everybody started buying suitcases on wheels. And before that time, we're all lugging around these heavy suitcases. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna pour my tea. You always have to let it brew a few minutes. I think I've talked for a few minutes, so that should be fine. But also, of course, it's a matter of taste, how strong you want it. Now, this is Earl Grey tea, so I don't want it too strong. I like it sort of very gentle. So, as you see, now this teapot is such a fantastic pourer. And this is the great thing about these old teapots. They pour so well. And the pots you buy nowadays, I don't know what happened, but they just don't pour the same. Also, as you see, it has a nice foot, which means it won't hurt the table, because this is really, really hot, but the foot is fine, so you can put it on the table. So here we go. I think it's been standing now. It smells really good. And did you know that the reason teacups are wider than coffee cups is that the way you take in the tea fragrance is by giving it space, while the way you take in coffee fragrance is by concentrating it. So that's why coffee cups are narrow and teacups are wide. Shall we try it out? Oh, that is so nice. And well, I've been busy too, so yeah, I made some cake as well. I'm gonna have that too. So anyway, try it out yourself. You can actually use these things. Of course, you have to wash them with extreme care. Again, don't use water that's too hot. I never wash them together with other dishes. And if I need to, I'll let them wait a day. But I don't wash them together with other things, because I don't want things to bang into each other, because that's how you break them. You can find all my treasures at gentlerattleofchina.com. You can see me on Instagram every single day with a picture and a story, and watch my weekly videos on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please press subscribe so that you'll get my videos every week. Thank you for watching. See you next week.